Hey guys, so I think I tried to sit down and make this video like 2 times about borderline personality disorder, and it's what I was diagnosed with. I think I was like turning 18 when I was diagnosed with. I was in an outpatient program. What is borderline? It's just a mental disorder that's characterized by unstable moods, behavior, and relationships. What does someone need in order to be diagnosed with borderline personality disorder? Well, it comes in 9 characteristics, and I fit all 9 when I was diagnosed. 1, fear of abandonment. 2, unstable relationships. 3, unclear sense of self. 4, impulsive self-destructive behavior. 5, self-harm. 6, extreme mood swings. 7, chronic feeling of emptiness. 8, explosive anger. And 9, disassociation, which it feels like you're not really here. Throughout my life, I always felt like something was wrong with me mentally, but I didn't know what it was. I was always diagnosed with everything under the sun. I was on a lot of medication growing up. I was diagnosed with depression at 10, and I had to be on Prozac at 10. And that's when I started self-harming at 10 years old. Did it until I was like 20, and I'm 28. I just turned 28 like a week ago, and it's something I still struggle with to this day, because only way I could get rid of this feeling in myself, that it was like a pain, like water boiling under your skin, and you just wanted to scream and you just wanted it to stop. I wasn't really taught how to talk, if that makes sense. My mom always was the type of person like, keep stuff to yourself and don't talk about that type of stuff. And well, I have to, because this is who I am. And if I were to make any new friends, I tell them that I'm borderline. Not to be like, oh, I feel sorry for you, you had a traumatizing childhood. Like, no, I tell people because I want you to know that some days I'm not gonna feel okay. There's gonna be some days that I'm gonna feel suicidal, and there's gonna be some days that I have mood swings that affect my day. I could get triggered by something and I don't even know what it is, because most of the time when I was traumatized as a kid, I disassociated, and it's in the back of my mind. So it will feel like tunnel vision. I can't see or I can't hear, and everything feels like underwater, and it will take me like a few minutes to come back into reality. Association is the way for when you're a child and something really traumatizing happens to you, your brain is protecting you from the trauma. The fear of abandonment, real or imaginary, I could think someone's leaving me, because I said something wrong, or I did something wrong, or I didn't do what they wanted. But that's not the case. Sometimes it's all made up in my head. I still to this day think that my husband's gonna wake up one day and not gonna love me anymore and leave me. Unstable relationships, I always had them growing up, because I never knew what a good relationship was and what a bad relationship was. Unclear sense of self, I never, sometimes I don't even recognize myself in pictures, or I don't recognize my voice. Sometimes, even if I'm filming this video, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, who the fuck is that bitch? Destructive behavior, impulsiveness. I will do something like reckless spending, overeating, and then 5, self-harm. I already said, I haven't really self-harmed in a long time. I had a slip up, well, this is a confession now, is it? I had a slip up when my mom passed away. She passed away January 10th of this year, and it's been really hard. And I didn't do it bad, and I just did a little scratch. It was nothing, it was superficial. It was not like how I used to. Here, I don't know if you can see, sitting here, I'm getting really uncomfortable talking about this type of stuff, because try to confide in people, they used to make me feel like I was crazy. It hurts, when you build up all this, you build up, okay, I'm gonna tell them and they're gonna understand me, and then you're met with disappointment. It kind of shutters you and thinks you just don't want to talk about it anymore. And that's how I felt for years. Like, I never talked about it. I never told anybody. I kept it to myself. Now that I'm 28 and almost gonna be 30, I have to take accountability for my mental illness. Extreme mood swings all the time. Something could trigger me and I could be happy, and the next minute I could be sad, angry, and like, it feels like every time I'm sad, it feels like someone died. Like, that's how intense it feels. Like, looks dramatic. It looks dramatic from the outside point of view, but if you didn't feel what I felt in my body, you wouldn't call it dramatic. You'd be like, oh shit, like, that shit hurt. It hurts. It affects me. Like, I get explosive anger or like irritable, and then I'm like but like the next few minutes, and nobody understands why. Chronic feeling of emptiness. I always feel like something's missing in me. Try to buy clothes, eat food, how much money I make, how much someone loves me, how much people I have around me. I'm still gonna feel empty. I'm still gonna feel like something's like missing. It's always gonna be part of me, and I just meditate on that way. Explosive anger. BPD anger, it's really hard to calm down. Ask people who have seen me that way. It will take me like an hour to calm down. I will literally shake. My body will be shaking. My body will be hot to the touch, and like, I can't see, can't hear. Like, I just want to scream and cry. Like, that anger, it hurts. And I haven't gotten that angry in a very long time, and I'm glad, but it still is a possibility that it could happen. And 9, disassociation. I already talked about that. Like, it feels like you're not really here. It feels like you're looking at yourself like in third person, or how can I describe it? You know, when you play first person shooter, it feels like that. Like, you could see your body moving around, doing stuff, talking, but you don't feel like you're talking. You feel like you're just there. You're floating. Helped me was DBT. I think is this personal the personal behavioral therapy. Is like a big booklet, and it's a lot of stuff, and I did it for 10 years. Why I'm so stable. I go to therapy once a week, and I take medication. I take lithium 300 milligrams, and I take Zoloft 50. I used to be on Zoloft 100 until I got triggered by something and I cut myself again. Higher doses of like SSRIs like Zoloft can make you feel like suicidal, so they had to lower it down for me. What I can say is that there is a lot of stigma against borderlines. We're looked at as abusive, manipulative, unlovable, baby killers, and crazy stalker women. If you saw I think it was Fatal Attraction, that movie, she was described to have borderline personality disorder, and you saw how she acted. When he was gonna leave her, she slit her wrists, and it was just, I understand she was doing that. It just, in the movie, it made it seem like she was a crazy person, but borderlines experience that type of emotion heavy when someone's gonna leave them. They could hurt themselves, and I don't know, like, and then a lot of like Deadly Women, I don't know if you know that show. It was a lot of women that killed their babies that have borderline personality disorder. That didn't feel good to watch growing, like, to watch like, oh, I'm gonna be a baby killer one of these days. I'm unlovable. Apparently, I'm one of the successful borderlines that got married because it's hard for us to keep a relationship. Manipulative, I don't try to be. If I'm telling you how I feel, it's because I'm telling you. It's not because I want you to feel sorry for me. It's not because I want you to do something for me. I'm not here to make anybody comfortable. I'm here to be myself, and I've always been authentically myself. Growing up, I had to hold things in, and it doesn't serve me anymore. So now I'm more of an open person, and I say what I want. Abusive, I can see how we can get abusive, because sometimes when we get triggered, we can get physical, and it's not anybody's fault. It's probably sometimes we could relive a memory of when we were getting abused, and it feels like that in that moment, and we want to fight back. And I've hit people. I could take accountability. I put my hands on people because I was triggered that way. Do I feel good about it? No. I always regret it every single time. As soon as the action happens, I always regret it because it's not my intentions to hurt people. I want people to understand me. So I'm sitting here talking about this illness, and there's gonna be some people that are gonna look at me and they're gonna think I'm crazy, but there's also gonna be some people that be like, oh my god, that's so inspiring. Oh my god, I feel the same way. I'm not doing this for those people that think I'm crazy. I'm doing this for people to understand that this is something I live with every single day, from the moment I open my eyes, from the moment I close them. It's not fun. It's not to be quirky. It's not to be like, ooh woo, like I have a mental illness. Like, that's not what it is. It's May is Borderline Awareness Month. I'm gonna say this. It hurts when people don't want to be our friends. It hurts when we talk about how we feel, no one understands us, or we're deemed as dramatic. Like being called dramatic is one of my biggest triggers. When I'm trying to talk about my emotions and you call me dramatic, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be furious with you because I'm not trying to be. This is not what I'm not trying to. The things I tell you is not on purpose. Like, I don't sit around orchestrating these emotions just to make people feel sorry for me. I don't do that. I never wanted to be this way. And nobody knows the real reason why people are borderline. Some people have theories that it's because you grew up in an abusive household. But then there's some people who never grew up in an abusive household, who have supporting parents, have borderline personality disorder. So it's never, people think it's genetic. People think it's environmental. And people, it's just random. All these are plausible. But I've done research and I've read a book called I Hate You Don't Leave Me. And that book, if you really want to know what it's like, you could read that book, and it gives explanations on people and their situations and how they deal with and how borderline affects them. In my experience, I went to the mental hospital 5 times, all for the same reason. I was cutting and I wanted to die because I didn't understand why I was cutting and wanted to die. Like, I never understood that about myself until I was diagnosed. So if you're out there, I'm looking at you, if you're out there and you think that this is you, you need to have help. It's not gonna get better until you seek help, until you find a way to get yourself stable. The recovering borderline is when you fit only 3 criterias instead of all 9 or 5. I'm currently in recovery, but that doesn't mean that these things don't come back. That's what's scary. I have to constantly work on myself in order for me not to retract 5 steps back, because if I do, it's gonna take more work to go forward, and then I can never be a mother, I can never have children, I can never have a job if I don't work on myself every single chance that I get and take my medication regularly. And all I know is that we are in this, I wish I was normal all the time. I wish I was normal all the time, but look at me. I dress like this, I look like this, and my hair is blue, and I'm pansexual. Like, there's no normal for me anymore. And you know what? That's completely fine. Because, hey, my name is Melanie Hernandez Figueroa, and I have borderline personality disorder.